Hello, you guys.
How y'all doing?
Welcome to Remnant Mentality Ministries. I am your girl, Carolyn Gamble.
And I'm Gary Gamble. I come back this week, guys. I know I was out last week, but I missed you guys, and I'm back this week.
All right. Well, I bet you guys are wondering, like, where are they? And is this nighttime or is this daytime or whatever? But we are back. We are back on the scene, and we are doing it early because guess what? Tomorrow is Resurrection Sunday, you guys. So therefore, we know you guys are going to be busy. You might be looking for Easter eggs. You might be looking for eggs with candy in them. You might be doing all kinds of busy stuff. So we wanted to make sure that you got the word extra early, just in case you didn't have no time, because you're going to be so excited about everything that's going to be going on tomorrow, okay, which is Resurrection Sunday. That's the day that Jesus rose from the dead, you guys. So this is tomorrow's going to be an awesome, amazing day for you guys. So we want to give you the word extra early. So let's get started, okay? Before we get started, I need you to I need you to share, and I need you to subscribe. I need you to tell everybody that you know about Remnant Mentality Ministries. That's your mama, your grandma, your grandpa, your uncle, your cousins, your sisters, your brothers. Tell everybody that you know about Remnant Mentality Youth Ministries, okay? Because this is Youth Sunday, you guys, and you can find us here every Sunday around the same time, around 8:30 to 9:30. You're going to find us here on the book. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on, what else? YouTube. So you can always find us. If you're missing an episode, you go back and you can check us out and get an episode. Like I tell the babies all the time, this is not just for the babies. This is for even the adults. If you guys have a problem understanding something, we try to keep it as clear as mud over here. We try to make sure that if you didn't understand a chapter, you can come back here and it's going to be broken down for you, like enough for even a baby to understand what is going on. So you guys, don't feel like this is just for the babies. This is for everybody, okay? So before we go ahead on and get started, we're going to pray, and then we're going to go ahead and go into the word, because I know you guys are excited to hear about the word. So let's get started. Father God, thank you for this day. We give you praise. We give you glory. We give you honor. And Father God, I ask that you go before us and make every crooked path straight. Father God, you open the hearts and touch the hearts of the people, of the children, where they'll be able to receive the word, where they'll be able to understand the word, and where they can take the word and show it to others. That is our prayer. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So if I didn't tell you guys, I am from Fordyce, Arkansas, okay? Me and my husband are in the Fordyce, Arkansas area. If I didn't tell you, I'm Carolyn Gamble, and this is
Gary Gamble.
I just want to make sure that you got that down pat. So let's get into the word, you guys. The word on today is going to be coming from, well, it's not even up here. Okay, don't worry. It's going to be coming from Genesis, the 27th chapter. Okay, I'm going to repeat it because I know you might want to write it down. You might want to go get your phone and pull it up. So I'm going to keep saying it until you get it. Genesis, the 27th chapter, 27. That's the chapter that we are on today. It's some very juicy information, and I'm ready to tell y'all what happened. Okay, so before I tell you what happened, I got to back up a chapter. Because in Genesis, the 26th chapter, you need to understand that Isaac is the daddy. And that Isaac has a wife. Let me go ahead and let y'all see what it is. Wrong one. Isaac has a wife named Rebecca. Now, just like I reminded you last week, Isaac and Rebecca got married, but Rebecca couldn't have any babies. So Isaac prayed to God, just like Abraham prayed to God about Sarah. And God opened up Rebecca's womb, and he gave her, wait for it, twins. I believe this is the first set of twins that we know of that was documented in the Bible. Okay, so God didn't just give her one, he gave her two for the price of one. Okay, so this blew Rebecca's mind. Okay, so she was very excited about her boys. She was very excited the fact that she was having twins, and things were not going so good for Isaac, but God was still blessing Isaac. And he blessed him so much that he gave him two boys.
Yep.
Okay, so now Isaac has two boys. Those two boys' names are
Esau and Jacob.
Esau and Jacob. We're going to say Esau and Jacob because Esau is the oldest. And the way Esau is the oldest is because when Esau came out of his mom's stomach, he was first.
He was the first to come out.
So he's the oldest, okay? I'm sorry, twins. If you feel otherwise, it's just the way it is. If you're born first and you come out first, you are technically the oldest. So Esau's the oldest. Baby Jacob is the second oldest, okay? So he's the firstborn, all right? So let's fast forward. So Jacob and Esau are living on the land. They're living great with their mom and their dad. Things are going great for them. And Esau is a hunter, okay? So can you explain what the hunter is?
A hunter? What Esau is. Esau, what he's a hunter. Esau was like a great hunter. He could go out and hunt deer, cows, and things of that nature. That they come in and eat. So Esau go out and hunt the food.
That's right.
The Jacob, then he bring it back and Jacob would cook it. He can cook. Esau could cook now. But it would be wild when he cook it. But if he wanted to taste good in the way people like it, he usually take it back to his brother Jacob. So he had birds, whatever the thing is that they need or they want to eat for that time. Esau was the one who went out and got it.
That's right. So Esau went out in the field. He got the deer, got the fish, got the shrimp, whatever it is, whatever foods that they were going to eat. Esau's chore or responsibility was to make sure that he got the food, the meat. Okay. And Jacob's job was to cook the meat, cook the food, and make a good meal, which Jacob worked in the kitchen. So he was a chef. Okay. He worked in the kitchen. His mom helped him. Okay. And his mom taught him everything that she knew.
Everything.
Okay. Esau was a hunter and he liked to be out in the fields and hunting and, killing animals and bringing food back home. Probably liked to be in the garden and all kinds of other stuff that he did. But
he was very hairy and Esau was hairy and he smelled like outside. So when when Esau was around, you knew that he was around. You knew he was in the house because of his smell.
Smelly and sweaty.
Smell like the outside. And Jacob was pretty much in the house around his mother and things of that nature. But Esau was more or less, from what I was reading, he was more or less around his father and doing the things that his father would like him to do.
Great point. So now you see that there's two different people going on here. There's two different parents, and both parents like one of them a little bit more than the other. They favor one more than not like, but favor. So Esau, we know his dad favors him because he likes to hunt. And Jacob, mom likes him a lot because she likes to cook. And he's more in the house with her all the time. So he likes to be with her. Okay. So as time moves forward, Jacob realizes that it's almost time for his dad to start pronouncing the blessings over the family, over the oldest. Okay. Everybody in that time knew about the birthright. The birthright is where the dad will pronounce a blessing over his oldest child, his oldest son, boy child. Okay. Now the blessing, you say, well, what is the blessing? The blessing is where the dad promises that he will be well taken care of, that he'll have everything that he needs, that whatever the dad has, you now have. So if the dad owns a cattle on 1,000 hills and he owns for you a Mercedes Benz and a house and thousands of toys and whatever else that he owns, it now becomes yours. Okay, so whatever materialistic things that the dad has, such as cars, houses, money, whatever, all that stuff goes to the oldest son. So Jacob knew that. So one day, Isaac came home and he was hungry because he'd been out in the field working and looking for food to, looking for something to hunt to bring home the meat. And so he was really, really hungry. And Jacob was cooking. And so Jacob was like, here's my opportunity to make my move.
Because see, like we said, we want to tell you this, that Esau was a hunter. He stayed in the woods. He was out there all day. All day. He got up early in the morning and went out hunting all day. And, it was a long, hard day. Like a person going to work. It was a long, hard day. So he was starving. He hadn't ate all day. So, and that's what the story is now. He hadn't ate all day, and he's coming in, and he see his brother. He smelled his brother stew or whatever it was that he was cooking from far off. And so he came rushed home to talk to his brother.
So Jacob, knowing that he's hungry, he says, hey, brother, I'll give you something to eat if you give me your birthright. And so Esau says, man, what is you talking about? Give you my birthright, man. I'm ready to eat. Can you please just fix me a bowl of food and just let me eat? And he's like, only if you give me your birthright. So he has the bowl in his hand and he takes it, only if you give me your birthright. And so Esau's like, you know what? I'm so hungry. I'm seeing 3 people at one time. You know what? I'm hungry. I'm tired. I don't want to be bothered with this. Yes, you can have my birthright. Just give me something to eat. Okay? So Esau took the food, and Jacob, in the back of his mind, he's thinking, my brother just sold me his birthright for food. Okay? He's that hungry that he would give me his birthright. He's not thinking about it. He don't even care about this stuff. He doesn't really even value the blessings of God. He doesn't even value the fact that eventually dad is getting ready to die, and he's going to have to give whatever he has to somebody else. See, Esau wasn't really thinking about that. But Jacob, the baby boy, he was very clever. So time moves on. Isaac is getting ready to die. He tells Esau, I can't really see right now, son. I'm losing my eyesight. I need you to come and I need you to fix me something to eat. And as you fix me something to eat, I'm going to talk to you, and we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to talk about the birthright. And I'm going to explain stuff to you, and we're going to sit down and have a conversation. So Esau's like, okay, Dad, I can do that. What do you want me to do? I want you to go out and hunt and bring me some of that good food. You know, my favorite meal. You know, that biscuit and a 2-piece, whatever it is that I really, really like. I need you to go out. I need you to get a chicken, kill the chicken, bring it to your mom and your brother. Let them cook it up real good with the, the biscuits and the gravy and the rice, what it is that I like. You know what I like, my favorite meal. And I need you to bring it back to me. Now, when you bring it back to me, we're going to have a conversation. So Esau runs out, dashes out the tent. He ready to go. He's out in the field. Now, his daddy knows it's going to take him all day long, or it's going to take him hours to do what it is that he needs to do. So his daddy not worried about it because he already knows this is what he does. Okay? So his dad is sitting in the tent, sleep, resting his eyes, doing what he usually do. And somebody comes into the tent. Guess who it is? It is Jacob. Now let's pause. Jacob comes into the tent because his mother has overheard him having a conversation with Esau about the birthright. So Jacob's mom tells him, you the best cook in the house. So what I want you to do is I want you to pretend that you are Esau so you can get the birthright. He said, oh, I already know what the birthright is. Yes, Mom, but I don't want to die. You try to get my brother to kill me? My brother is not gonna let me get. I'm not gonna be able to get this birthright. My brother is going to kill me if I try to deceive him or try to trick him into giving me this birthright. Mom, how am I gonna do that? I'm not Harry. I don't look like him. I don't talk like him. I don't walk like him. How am I going to get the birthright? So his mom says, don't worry about it. I got a plan. So the mama tells him, I need you to go and find get some fur from outside on one of the animals. And I need you to like make you some sleeves. Put some fur right here and put some fur right here. Because you know your brother Harry, right? So we're going to have to pretend that you your brother. So I need you to get you some hair, put it on your arms and everything like that. And then when you get ready to go, bring the food. Your daddy already waiting on it. Bring some food in there. You go in there and you tell your daddy that you Esau. So he's like, I don't know about this, Mom. I just don't feel comfortable doing this. I mean, I want it, but I don't feel comfortable, deceiving my brother. I don't feel comfortable telling my dad that I'm my brother. She said, it doesn't matter. Just do it. So he's like, okay, Mom, I will listen to you. So he did exactly what his mom told him. He went up in there. He talked to his dad. He told his dad, hey, Dad, I brought you something to eat like you told me. And so the dad, Isaac's like, Jacob, is that you? Because Isaac can't see now. He can hear good, but he can't see. So he said, Jacob, is that you? I know that's your voice. He said, no, Dad, this is not Jacob. This is Esau. His dad said, no, that sounds like my son. I know my son's voice. This is Jacob. And he said, no, Dad, this is not. This is Esau. So he's like, let me feel your arms. So that, babe, stick your arm out. So he touches his arm. He feels it like, well, it feels like Esau, though. But your voice sounds like Jacob. Okay, maybe I'm losing it. I'm getting up in age. Maybe I just thought that you sound like Jacob, but you Esau. Okay, son, you bring my food for me? Yes, Dad, I brought the food just like you told me to. Okay, well, let me eat. And when I finish eating, we're going to talk about the birthright. We're going to talk about the blessing of God. So he sat there, he waited for his daddy to finish eating all the food. And he said, okay, Dad, let's talk about the birthright. Like, what's going on? Like, what is the birthright? Like, explain to me the birthright. And his dad says, okay, the birthright is the blessings of God. Son, I'm going to bless you so much that God says that the blessings that he has poured upon me is going to fall over and overflow and pour onto you. So whatever God bless me with, he going to bless you with it. So he's like, okay. So everything that I have now belongs to you. And your dad and your brother is going to serve you to the day he dies. He's going to be a servant of you. But you will take care of him and you will make sure that he is well taken care of. You take care of his family and you make sure they're well taken care of. Yeah. But he will have to serve you and you only. Okay, so that's what he tells him. And he says, God will pour you out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive it. It will be as if you're standing over an open heaven for the rest of your life. You will be blessed abundantly. So you will have more than enough. You will have always enough food, always enough water. You will have the best of the best. You will be protected. No one will be able to harm you. These are the promises of God that I will pronounce and put over and bless you with. Because God says that when I pass away, it goes to my firstborn son, which is Esau. So he pronounces the blessing over him. He tells him everything, the great things that's going to happen. And it says that Jacob pretty much kisses his dad goodbye and says, okay, Dad, and he leaves. Okay. 2 hours later, I'm going to just say 2 hours later, Esau comes in. He gets the food from his brother and his mom, and he comes after he had brought in this meat and everything he had been hunting out there in the field. He comes in and brings his dad the food that he told him to do. And so he gets there and he says, okay, Dad, I'm here. I'm back. I brought you everything that you need. Yeah. And so he says, Esau? Yes, Dad, it's me. Remember, you told me to come. You told me to go out and do what I needed to do, go hunt and bring some meat and bring it back to you. And you would sit down and talk to me about the birthright. He says, son, I've already ate and I already spoke to Esau. What? Somebody just came in here and told me that they were Esau, and they didn't smell like you. They didn't talk like you, but their arms was hairy just like you. So I felt like it was you. And it says that Esau became angry. And he said, Dad, what are you talking about? Dad, I haven't been here. I just got here. Dad, you know how long it takes to go hunt and get food and cook it and bring it to you. So you know that I didn't do that, Dad. Like, what do you mean? What happened? What's going on? And it says that his dad says, son, I believe I've been tricked. I believe that Jacob has came in here and told me that he was you.
Yes.
And he said, oh my gosh, son, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So Esau said, it's okay, Dad. You could just bless me too. You can bless me too. I know you blessed my brother and he tricked you, but you can bless me too. Please bless me, Dad. And that's when Isaac says, son, I can't.
He tried his best, if he could have, he would have blessed him more, but he couldn't bless him because he's already given the blessing to Isaac. So he blessed him with a few things that he could have, but all of the blessing went to his brother. But we just have to remember, like, rewind, earlier in the chapter, he had already gave him his birthright a few verses ago.
Correct.
So he didn't really understand that. He probably understood it, but he took his birthright for granted.
That's right.
That's more that part of the story. Esau took his birthright for granted, and then it came to pass.
It backfired on him.
Mm-hmm.
So the moral of that part is the whole point of that story, or that part that my husband was trying to bring up to you, Mr. Gary was trying to tell you, is that life and death is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you speak out of your mouth, whatever you say out of your mouth, God is going to allow it to take place, because God says that we have power just like he has power. Okay? God says we have the same power. So whenever we open our mouths and speak a thing, it has to take place. It may not happen right away, but it's working. So be careful what you allow to come out of your mouth, whether good or bad. Make sure that you think about it first. And who is it going to benefit if I say this? Or who is it going to hurt? Or who is it going to hurt or affect if I say this? Okay? Because life and death is in the power of the tongue. There is life in your words. So yes, he told his brother, you can have my birthright, but he didn't even pay attention to what he said. He caused that thing to start working, and he didn't even think nothing else about it. He forgot that he gave his brother his birthright a little while back, but he had already gave it to him. So he took what he had for granted. How many of you are taking what you have for granted, little kids? Are you taking your toys for granted? Are you taking your brother and sister for granted? Are you taking your mom and dad for granted? Are you taking your belongings for granted? Are you taking your house for granted? Just assuming that everybody has a house. Everybody doesn't have a house. Everybody doesn't have a place to stay. Everybody doesn't have food. Everybody doesn't have these things that you take for granted. I know you take them for granted because I take things for granted. But God is trying to teach us that, one, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And two, don't take your stuff for granted. Appreciate it, because one day it might get taken. And that is exactly what happened to Esau. His birthright was taken from him, but he had already given it away. Okay, whether he meant it or not, it came out of his mouth. I don't want it. I just want something to eat. And guess what? You didn't get it. You just got something to eat. And his brother, Jacob, yes, he was wrong, but his brother Jacob went behind his back with his mom's help and took his birthright from him. And he was made to be a servant for the rest of his life because of what he did way back. So people, be mindful of that. Children, be mindful of that. You have what you say. Yeah. Okay, so let's fast forward back to the story. So Esau is upset. I'm sure he kicking the tent, going crazy, all up in the tent with his daddy. His daddy upset. His daddy's mad because he's telling him, son, I can't bless you with nothing else. I can't give you nothing because I gave it all to your brother. Yeah. So he's upset. He's mad because he feels like they have tricked him. They have fooled him, and they have made a fool out of him. So his daddy's angry. Esau's angry. It says Esau was so angry, he thought about killing his brother. He was plotting and planning in his head what was going to go down. Okay? And how he was going to make it happen. And his mama knew it. So she told Jacob, pack your bags. Get your stuff together. And you need to go stay with one of our family members. Because if you don't leave, Esau going to kill you. And he knew it. He knew that he was going to die if he didn't leave. Because Esau was that angry at him. It says that it took Esau years to get over what his brother did to him. He felt betrayed. He felt hurt. He felt like his brother stabbed him in the back. He felt like he couldn't trust nobody. But it says that even though all of that stuff took place, God still shielded Esau. He still protected Esau. He even shielded Jacob, and he still protected Jacob. But the fact that he did wrong, Jacob did his brother wrong. Okay? And with his mom's help. Okay? So that pretty much is the end of this chapter. We're getting ready to find out next week what happens when Jacob gets sent off to a family member for his safety, with Esau still at the house with his mom and dad. We're getting ready to find out next week what happens after they separate, after the twins separate and go to different places. Will Jacob find his brother and kill him? Will Jacob move on with his life? Will Jacob forgive his brother? We don't know. We have no clue what's going to happen on next week when you tune into episode 28, Genesis 28, where we're getting ready to talk about what happens in the next chapter. So you guys, if nothing else, if you don't get nothing else about this book, about this chapter, is one, life and death is in the power of the tongue. You have what you say. Don't take life for granted. Don't take the things that you have for granted. Appreciate them. Appreciate the things that you have, and tell God thank you. In the midst of everything that's going on, always appreciate what God gives you. Okay? Because one day it could all be taken away. So always show God, always tell God thank you. Always tell your mom and dad thank you. And always think of others, because when you're always thinking of others and mindful of others, you appreciate what you have. Okay? So you guys, I hope that you guys tune in next week. I know that you guys will tune in next week and watch and find out what happens to Jacob and Esau. And will they forgive each other? Don't know. So tune in next week. I love you guys. You be blessed. This is Remnant Mentality Youth Ministries. This is your girl, Carolyn Gamble.
And I'm Gary Gamble.
And we look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, happy Resurrection Sunday, y'all.